This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy! Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, a.k.a.
Catbus Russ,
who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guests and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, Ninety, 4 FOR, chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
I didn't think you survived. You're hunting something that can't be killed.
Alpha Withrop, I know you're out here. Just come in before the monkeys spot you.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Well, it's about midnight in Lombard, Illinois, and I'm prepping for TARDIS. First one for me. Was this the inspiration, or was Doctor Who the inspiration for Visions originally?
No, I don't think so. Visions was a general convention, but they did get a fair deal of classic Doctor Who hosts, this being back in the 90s.
So, alright, but it's Thanksgiving, and nothing else is open except movie theaters. So, I went and checked out a flick and got an okay burger. Milkshake was good.
Yeah.
And I believe the Poetic Critic did the same.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get a burger. I got a little chicken Caesar wrap.
Ah.
It was good, but not huge.
Yeah.
So I also got popcorn anyway.
Well, I was thinking about it because I finished the meal before frickin' Nicole
happens.
Kidman gets done with her bollocks.
Yeah, that happens.
So, I went and saw Predator Badlands. What did you check out?
Well, I went to see Wicked for Good again.
Alright.
See it in a higher quality than I could get back home.
Oh, so you saw it at the Morton.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, AMC does that. Despite I heard the one on Dirksen, it was on Reddit, really screwed up the volume and such for... Maybe they had a blown woofer or something. Dirksen in Springfield. I think the one that perhaps Brad Jones may have worked at.
I don't know.
I think that's the one that, like, if you ever went to... Did you ever actually get to see any movies when you were in Springfield?
No.
Okay, so, I mean, it was the closest one to the college, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Or the one closest to the VU. But I digress. So, yeah, basically we went to celebrate Thanksgiving at the movies. I had a cheeseburger with 2 beef patties. You just can't leave me with 1 slice of cheese. So, and it wasn't as fun as, I say, Schaumburg, where you could at least grab merchandise and such. Do a little shopping while you wait. I mean, hell, we have that.
That's cool, but
Well, we have that even in Champaign, though. So I mean, I don't know. So, truth be told, would you be checking out the Wicked movies if some different guy was playing the Wiz?
I don't know, because I was always kind of put off by what I'd heard of the stage production.
Huh.
But stage productions and film adaptations can be very different things.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does come out with I think about how The Sound of Music was a hit on Broadway, but it didn't become iconic until the film in 1965. And one writer, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Well, he'd written a good book about which musicals that were well suited or not to local productions, like amateur productions.
Okay, yeah, I think you've told me about this stuff before.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the guy's name.
Okay. So, I don't know, but maybe it's just living with a theater girl for 4 years. Not to say that I did not live with a theater girl for 24.
Peter Felicia.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's the pronunciation. I'm sorry if I'm incorrect. But what he said was, one of the things that Sound of Music on stage suffers from that the movie did not was that the story in Sound of Music has what he called a scenic grandeur. I mean, it's set in Salzburg, Austria, and the settings are an old abbey, the mansion of the wealthy, powerful captain, the grand scenery that surrounds all of it, which, to the point, to this day, a big part of tourism in that part of Austria, because they did shoot it on location, is to visit all the sites the movie was shot in.
Yeah.
They take you around the town and they show you where, like, Do, Re, Mi, and other numbers were shot. The thing about Wicked that seems to benefit from a film adaptation is that the scope of the story is quite large.
Well, yeah, I mean, geez, how many Oz novels were there?
Well, the original run of Oz novels, if you're going by what the hardcore fandom regards as canon, is at least 40 books.
Whoa, okay, wow.
And these are just the ones that are come up with some kind of artificial continuity, which is famously flexible because world building was not really a thing when the books started to be written.
Right. No,
So there were a lot of infamous inconsistencies and retcons over the years. This doesn't even go into alternate revisionist takes like the novels of Gregory Maguire that inspired the musical, and which are more akin to a work of high fantasy fiction, like The Lord of the Rings. The film is... The easiest way to put Wicked the musical is to Wicked the novels is the Disneyfied version of the narrative.
Right.
And toned down, much less mature in nature. But it is still a story that takes place in this very large setting that has become familiar, primarily by way of the famous 1939 film, more than the original books. Most obviously in that the whole jumping off point of the story is that we have a girl with green skin. This was something the 39 version introduced.
Okay,
In the original novel, the Wicked Witch of the West is just a yellowy old crone.
Oh, I didn't know if we were going for... So, obviously, the themes of the advertising before movies right now in AMC is The Wicked, and we had the big, pardon me for not wanting to butcher names as well, but the actress who portrayed the Wicked Witch,
Cynthia Erivo.
Yes, I thought it was it. I'm not doing a John Travolta here when it comes to Wicked. Be Wicked, be green for good. Essentially, is the so.
But you have with Wicked, the scope of the story roughly takes place. There's like at least a year's break between the two acts of the musical. It's deliberately kind of unclear how much time passes in between the two. But you have a story about. It's a story about politics. It's a story about romances gone wrong. It's a story about the friendship between two women.
Yes.
And how it evolves when each takes very different sides in a conflict. It's about prejudice. And then on top of all that, it's also the Wizard of Oz narrative from this tweaked perspective. Most of which, everything kind of falls into place by about the 1/3 mark of the second film or act.
Well, that kind of makes me think, well, no, I didn't need to see Wicked for good. I saw Predator Badlands. You got the struggle of Elle Fanning's synthetics. You got a little monkey buddy. Well,
no, I think that's another thing that kind of gave Wicked more of an edge, if not outright justification, beyond. I mean, there's been a lot of argument as to whether this needed to be divided into two films. On stage, it's about 2.5 hours.
So we're going for
the film is a bit over. The two films, when you take out the credits, is over 4.
All right, it's just.
But I have heard some people speak of this complimentary that the musical was too rushed in handling certain plot points, such as the fact that Elphaba is specifically fighting the wizard over the persecution of the sentient animals in the Land of Oz.
Yeah, I've seen that at least in the trailer. Or the honest trailer, but I digress.
Yeah. And the movie gave a lot of this material more time to breathe than it did on stage. Wicked was not an acclaimed musical when it opened on Broadway in 2003. Avenue Q was the big Tony winner that year.
No, all he really had was the girl from Rent.
And Kristen Chenoweth in her star-making role as Glinda.
Yeah, but as I say, I mean at least... again, don't want to pull the John Travolta.
Yeah, you have the knob, but there was a lot of novelty going forward. That this, somebody said, this is something I read at TV's Tropes, that at this point there are only 3 movies you can safely assume everyone is familiar with, and maybe then only 2, because the first 2 would be The Wizard of Oz and the original Star Wars. The other would be A Christmas Story, where once it might have been The Sound of Music.
See, I don't know. I figured The Godfather is probably...
No, not as much. I read a review, speaking of people associated with Wicked, of a Jeff Goldblum jazz concert in New York City. It was when he was doing one of his club shows with his band, and they were at one point, according to this gal who was writing for the Mary Sue, I think Rachel Leishman, I think was her name. She went to the show, and he was trying to have a guess the Godfather quote contest, and there were too many people in the audience who were not familiar enough with the movies for that to work, leading to the tweet, Jeff Goldblum is explaining the Godfather movies.
And Lord knows how long, well, Lord knows how long that might take.
I had to put a little censor pause in there.
No. Yeah, but No, Predator Badlands is fun, but really this is pretty much Predator the video game. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, it's the Predator wanting to join his clan, despite he is the runt. So, easy to relate to the guy. You know, father killing the brother for not culling him. Mm-hmm. And then it's fun dealing with nothing but Weyland Yutani synthetics, which is why I got a PG-13. Mm-hmm. Which kind of takes the fun out of Predator in a bit. Like, I want to see, you know, it was cool once seeing Bishop get torn in half by the... And it's fun, there's a lot of fun with Elle Fanning's droid, Thea character not having legs for the majority of the movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, we get to see these cool things, and it's like, no, that's supposed to be crimson all over the place. You're taking the fun out of it. So it really feels synthetic. Mm-hmm. Pun intended, I suppose.
Well, that's how you get the PG-13.
I know.
If it's alien blood, it doesn't count.
But there's a lot of cute concepts in it. I mean, I don't want Predator to be for the kids, though. We gotta run this by the RZA, the Giza, Ghostface. Would Wu-Tang call this for the children? So I mean, but you can't fault it. It's fun, straight action. But again, so many video game elements to it. Mm-hmm. The Predator is supposed to be. So this isn't what now. The Predator has become Freddy Krueger in a way. Uh-huh. Actually, there's horror icons. There's other horror icons who do the entire baby face turn. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, Saw X is considered by many to be at least perhaps the best or the second best. I'm gonna say third best Saw movie, and that's because we're cheering for John Kramer in this one. And actually, the other fun Saw movies, you do cheer for John Kramer. Like the sixth one is one of my favorites, which is really a statement on the healthcare system. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't that was another thing about walking out. Mm-hmm. Like when I saw Tron Ares, and look, I know Jared Leto, why? But when you look at the character, the true antagonist in the movie, the grandson of David Warner, he played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies. Can't believe I'm missing on the name, which doesn't make sense continuity-wise, but that is the kind of twat who would go and what would the ideal super soldier look like? And he would come out with Jared Leto. Mm-hmm. So it all makes sense in Tron Legacy. But the point of the matter is, I bought the Tron Legacy popcorn bucket on the way out, and I didn't get a chance to buy the Predator bucket. It wasn't just being out on the floor and everything like that. But no, I don't. It doesn't really look like. It's one of those popcorn buckets that doesn't look like it really work. Be too functional. Just the helmet.
Yeah, I was noticing that they were apparently pretty much out of all the Wicked collectibles except the collectible Groomery popcorn box. Which again doesn't seem particularly practical.
Yeah.
But because I knew they had a whole bunch of stuff that was set up.
Well, I mean, you can. I use
popcorn tins and stuff.
Yeah, and I ordered everything online, so I could have gotten myself a bucket if I'd $40 though. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, it's really you could probably get it empty for $20, but they're not going to sell you it online without the popcorn.
Right. And it's interesting that because a lot of people were at this screening of Wicked. You know, it was it's holiday. You had several family groups,
and it was a seven-ish show.
Yeah, prime time. But it was predominantly women, and there were, young women, little girls, and there were older women. And they really do respond to this, and that's part of the fun of seeing a film like this again. Particularly the big catfight between Linda and Elphaba after the death of Elphaba's sister. Which is played as strictly as a comedy set piece, but a very, very amusing one.
Thinking of musicals, I was watching
because what I'm saying is, the reviews for the Wicked movies have not been any more glowing really than they were. Maybe a bit more positive, but not glowing.
Did it weasel its way into a Best Picture nomination last year?
Yeah, I got a Best Picture nomination that last year. The reviews were stronger for the first film because most of the bangers in Wicked, as often happens with musicals, are the Act 1 numbers, so that helps.
Yeah.
But you see there's some I know there are some pretty cutting reviews for the sequel, this follow-up especially, out there. But I hesitate to use the word critic-proof, but a lot of how you respond to something like a musical, like musicals especially, is going to be very much personal taste at hand. Wicked seems to be something you either get or you don't. It's not a lot of in between, but a lot of people do get it. You don't get as popular as Wicked is. Just as a stage play, it's one of the highest grossing entertainment ventures of all time.
Yes, no, I'm definitely familiar
You don't
with
get that big without speaking to a lot of people.
Yeah. Kind of makes me think of the simplicity of people when you say that. Like, I think if Wicked wasn't based off established material.
Sure, but many things are.
Well,
even if not officially, let's face it.
But what I'm saying is that
always gave it a novelty of its own, of course. That was what helped get people through the door.
Yes.
But
I'm just saying, when you say, oh, people get it, it's like, do they? Like, I think a lot of, and I say this a lot about successful musicals, is I think a lot of people just turn their brains off for the music, just to get to the music.
The thing about musicals is that they do. I hesitate to use stuff like turning your brain off or lizard brain reactions. But there is a go-to-the-throat emotionality in many of the most popular musicals, be it The Sound of Music or Wicked, that audiences find compelling. I found it compelling in its way. I like The Sound of Music, and I think the Wicked films are quite good. I can see where, for a lot of people, that one doesn't work for them, and that's fine.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, I could walk into Wicked, enjoy it or not, but I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And I don't think, dare I say, the messages of, no, I don't, that's what I'm getting at. Is I don't think, I think, oh, it speaks to me. Okay, and then you try having a political discussion with somebody based on that, say the layman, I suppose. And, like, no, it's just, like, it's fine. That's what I get at.
Some people just are able to elucidate what they like about it better than others.
Well, I don't know. I'm just, goes back to...
Not everybody thinks about this sort of thing for a living.
Yeah.
Or even as a hobby.
But, so... As I say, Predator, Badlands, I get dancing legs, I get the monkey. Saw a really creepy trailer for the movie Primate.
Yeah, I've seen posters, but I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, it's like... And it's very weird when you get that after a trailer for 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
Uh-huh.
It's like, Are we sure this isn't just a spin-off movie? What happened to that monkey? Yeah, so not a lot of great trailers. I've seen the one for The Bride, and I'm interested just because it's Maggie Gyllenhaal directing it. And Sam Raimi has got an interesting one, Send Help, which is kind of like, yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to cheer for the douchey executive who I think you're supposed to relate to after really picking on your neurodivergent Rachel McAdams.
And there were trailers. I mostly stand off to the side of the trailers at one point because AMC especially, can be pretty loud, and sometimes it was almost uncomfortable here.
Oh,
both the trailers and the movie. But that said, we did get a bunch of trailers. I think the only one that was properly attached was the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Mm-hmm. But we also got the Moana remake trailer.
Oh, well. Didn't need that myself. That's why you stick to the PG-13 and the R-rated stuff.
I remember when that dropped last week.
Oh, jeez.
The response from my friends was pretty much abject horror.
Yeah, that's part of the joy.
But as my friend Jessica Ritchie says, the really sad thing is that movie's going to make a lot of money.
I don't know about that. Dwayne Johnson hasn't made money in a long time.
Look, if the Lilo if the Lilo and Stitch remake could do $1 billion,
well,
the only reason the Snow White remake circled the drain was because kids.
Uncanny value with your dwarfs. The entire political war overtaking.
There are a lot of issues, but as Jessica said,
Gal Gadot doesn't act.
Honest trailers pointed out, even older adults, much less kids, don't have the attachment to Snow White as a property as they do even something like The Wizard of Oz.
Well, this goes
much less something like Lilo and Stitch.
This goes back to, we got to get back to the reissues cycle. Disney can't go and give us 90-year-old movies and not keep it fresh in the rotation.
No, they are absolutely running out of stuff to work with, but they also... There's a feeling, and me, Jessica, other people think this way, is that Disney really hates animation. Disney corporate. They could not give a flying fig about what they're doing with animation now, and certainly not their library. They don't think they're real movies, as opposed to a live action.
Well, film. I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
Well, it explains a lot of how they treat them, how they only see them as a potential source of IP to recycle for something like a remake, not something that's worth preserving and keeping around in the form of reissues. What's interesting is that there is, ever since COVID, there has been a growing market for reissues.
Well,
if not on the scale that we had up until maybe the mid to late 90s when Disney phased those out.
Well, by that point they phased them out because they had such strong... They were in their Disney Renaissance. Like, they didn't want to go and kill their own market. It's interesting, though, when you bring up the not liking animation. I've been watching this YouTube channel, Channel Surfer, that's S-E-R-F-E-R, where he does the death of Hollywood pictures, the downfall of Trimark. So it's fun, but you're going through the Hollywood Pictures one, and then Synergy as well. Mm-hmm. that was just the 80s. If Disney wasn't on a downturn animation-wise, I don't think they would have resorted to Michael Eisner's restructuring. Basically, that's when Disney became a corporate entity versus when it was still the spirit of the family.
Spirit of the family, though, wasn't getting them anywhere.
Well, no,
Even before Eisner, Wells, and Katzenberg were nicked over from Paramount, basically, they were trying to find ways. I mean, the infrastructure for what Touchstone was set up shortly before they got there.
Right.
But
they knew they needed to expand. Eisner was only about the dollars, and Katzenberg famously said, "Let's not get into the blockbuster mentality."
I think it's more complicated than that.
No. Well, go and watch the Channel Surfer videos, and I think that'll set you up. But it was a different time in the market, and
it is true that Katzenberg, Eisner, and Wells had very little experience didn't really understand animation per se, and it took them a while to fully understand how long it takes to get it to work and how the editing process is not the way you would do it on a live action film.
But yeah, it's more time consuming.
Yeah.
You're gonna have less products, and that I would admit it's kind of surprising that in the age of CG, like, you already have your wireframes. Like, there's a reason why we had 4 Shrek movies in a decade versus, or how many frickin' Minions do we have? I think they're the point where you could, if you put the Minion movies together with the series, with the Despicable Me's, you can get a Screen Draft 7. So, yeah, it's just, again, you break it down, live action's easier to do. And, like, you have great stories, so why not just go and do them again in a quicker way? I get the structure.
But it's not necessarily a quicker way. I mean, it's probably more expensive. Especially, even though Disney tries to cut corners wherever they can. It's believed that part of the reason the cheapness comes because special effects houses still aren't very well unionized.
Well,
most of them.
Well, no, and that goes back to Predator Badlands and me calling it a video game. Essentially, it's like like, it's cool to see a Yautja actually speak and have dialogue. It's almost like I really wish they would have gone Godfather restaurant scene with the opening. Again, I didn't want this to be Predator for kids. And never mind, this is the same guy who did Prey, Dan Trachtenberg, I believe. Like, that wasn't Predator for kids. No, I wanted, like, I could have gone no subtitles for the opening 15 minutes. Like, yeah, no, this is for the nerds. It's kind of like how Trevor Noah was saying with when Black Panther came out, and there's the scene where they're speaking Swahili, and like, but no subtitles, and like, where's the white people, where's this? No, this is for me. So I guess that's kind of like, I don't know what the box. I don't really follow the box office too closely, and I blame IMDb for that, since there's so much about promoting what's streaming now. I mean, they're an Amazon product. Like, how far you have to go down on the freaking webpage to see, hey, what's in theaters? What's the box office look like? So I don't know how well Predator Badlands is doing. I know a lot of people, at least in my circles, have seen it.
Yeah.
I know that I heard The Running Man bombed.
Yeah.
But it's an Edgar Wright movie, so what do you expect?
And Jessica saw it, and, well, she liked it more than she expected, given how sour the word was in the opening stretch, but the wheels came off by the end.
I haven't been disappointed by Edgar Wright yet myself. So, and when you've done this, is 21 years since Shaun of the Dead, and you've been able to have that great a track record. I guess I can't really. I'm still gonna get around to seeing it. Sisu was a little too late in the evening.
Yeah.
Like I'd get home, I get to the hotel in the same amount of time, about the same time, but then I wouldn't get any food.
Yeah. Well, what other trailers did I get? Because there were quite a few, and varied and sundry.
It's almost like watching the Blu-ray for Truth or Dare. The amount of trailers they attach to stuff.
Yeah, at this point. But with something like Wicked for Good, in both my screenings, there was something very varied and sundry about what trailers they had. Because we're doing this female-forward musical. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
You can't put, like, trailers for, cape stuff in front of it, really. Even though there really isn't that much differentiating the Wicked duology from some of your more elaborate superhero.
No, I could definitely see throwing a Fantastic Four trailer ahead of this.
Well,
with that said, I was in Hot Topic, picking up an order. I get the rewards a lot, but I don't get my hot cash.
Yeah.
So it's just not... They really need to go back goth. Did South Park shut that down? Give me some good pleather, man. More skirts. Despite I had a really awesome skirt when I went to the last goth night.
yeah.
But there's not a lot of people are getting pumped. At least the nerds are getting pumped for Doomsday. I think that might turn everything around.
I don't know.
But
It's a lot riding a lot on some feels like very slim shoulders, because this is turning into a visit to the old folks' home. Let's face it. That they're leaning so hard on some very old actors. And a whole bunch who may not be old, but sure aren't spring chickens anymore. I can't see this really exciting the younger kids.
Well, no, it's weird. The Hot Topic champagne. We got an old guy wearing a tank top as the manager. I mean, it's fun talking wrestling with him, despite he keeps saying, "So what do you think about ZSJ?" No, it's Zack Sabre Jr., the greatest English wrestler of all time. It's ZSJ. But I don't want to be that guy.
But with the trailers we ended up getting, we had some that you'd be fairly willing to accept. As I said, Super Mario Galaxy might have been attached.
Yeah.
But they also had the Moana remake, the next SpongeBob movie, which is opening as counter-programming to Avatar 3.
Why are you even trying to counter-program?
Well, it worked before. It's worked before with the SpongeBob movies.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Look, we only had one great counter-programming, and that was so ridiculous that people just embraced it. So we're going back to 2023.
But we also had, I'm going to tell you how varied it got. We had not regretting you, but Memories of Him, I think is the title. Which is it's another Colleen Hoover adaptation.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not. I'm getting older. Yeah, I'm getting older. I can essentially start sitting on them, but I'm not calling that. Okay, sorry. Long way around to say, yeah, I'm not equipped for the Wicked trailer lineup.
What else then? They might have had the Michael teaser. But if it did, I missed it. They had the one for Emerald Fennell's adaptation of Wuthering Heights. They had... I know they had some others. Song Sung Blue, which is another counter-programmer for we're getting next month. This is the one where... Okay. It's the one with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson as a Neil Diamond tribute band. And how they overcame adversity when she got really beat up in some accident.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as cool as Steve Zahn and Jack Black and Jason Biggs.
It's based on a true story.
Oh gosh, that is a sad ass story because Neil Diamond is the greatest hack in music.
Oh, I don't know. But no, I'm not really sure what the market is for this.
Well, it goes back to K-pop Demon Hunters for me. It's just, dare I say, it's simple, joyful bollocks, which is what Neil Diamond is. And that's kind of what pop music in general is. Like with K-pop Demon Hunters, it's just I'm not bad-mouthing the music, I'm bad-mouthing the entire structure of the story. Never mind, like, I just didn't really... They really try to make it seem too complicated for... by the end of it all. Mm-hmm. So... Yeah, no. Popular... Oh, it's what people want. We gotta teach people that want better things.
Well, it's going to be real interesting. Oh, they also had the Anaconda comedy remake trailer.
I've never got around to really sitting and watching the original, but there's a point where they, Paul Rudd and Jack Black just seem like they can make it worthwhile. This film is not yet rated though, is the official status, and I'm worried. Think you gotta go R with this. I think the sequel to Anaconda's Secret of the Blood Diamond, was an R-rated affair. So, and I'm kind of curious, going back to Wicked. Wicked for Good, I should say. I know it's a PG. What was the original Wicked?
PG.
Huh. I figured they would... okay, I'm just glad they didn't neuter the feature, because again, PG-13 is just so simple of rating the throw on things now.
Yeah.
And then again, that makes me want to research the box office, because it's almost like, yes, did I enjoy Predator Badlands? I did. But it could have been so much cooler. But I posted it. I think my friends at the B3 podcast, they said something about it, and and they seem to enjoy it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just glad the Weyland-Yutani connection means that Paul W.S. Anderson's vision of Alien versus Predator is still intact. So I guess in the end, though, it's basically, I don't need Predator Badlands -R, because I don't want to see them screw something up with it. Oh, you wanted gore? Here you go. But who knows? Maybe if I could have actually seen what was happening in AVPR. But, alright. So, what is there to expect at TARDIS tomorrow?
Well, first day is always relatively low-key.
Like most cons.
The main event ends up being the opening ceremony where all the guests that are there so far introduce themselves and stuff.
Kind of like the first Visions. The last Visions, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Robot, roll call. Eccleston!
He may not be there.
I'm just trying to think. How do we go?
But other things but we'll have the dealer rooms will be open. There'll be activities, the video room.
Well, the video rooms we don't get enough of, I'd say, at big cons anymore.
It's interesting. Yeah. Last few
Fan
CTs
Expo
would just use the room to mostly run through classic Who episodes and whatever the last season had. But I guess, because I wasn't here last year,
yeah.
I had other commitments, but it seems that Disney won't let them use the new episodes in the video room.
New episodes dating back to...
I would think pretty much back to the Tennant 60th anniversary shows. So since we've already run,
okay, sorry.
They were able to run through.
You could essentially go from 9 to 13.
And all the classic.
Yeah.
They didn't have any problems.
Okay,
doing
I'm just
for
trying
any of the previous Doctors.
Yeah,
this only became seems to have only become a problem now with the Disney Plus co-productions. So instead,
that's what you get for your DEI doctors.
So
sorry, just popping.
So instead, to fill out the schedule, besides showing like the greatest hits or just sometimes it feels a little random which storylines they'll pick because they'll run the whole storylines in full because they're doing both classic and new. But along with like the greatest hits of Doctors 1 through 13, we're getting old movies starring some of the actors.
Yeah.
Well, some of them aren't that old. Like this year, they're including.
G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra?
No. Nah. But they've always run Brighton Rock, which was a 1940s film that William Hartnell appeared in. Mm. They always manage to work that movie in, even if they're just doing standard episodes otherwise. Doctor Who otherwise. But this year, anyway, they're also working in movies like Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Paddington, Attack the Block, and so on. Because they all have a doctor. Although one of the movies just features Billie Piper, who played Rose.
Right.
So they'll have a schedule posted outside the room. They also have it on the CT website schedule lists what all the episodes and movies are going to be. And there'll be the crafting activities for the kids and panels on cosplay. A lot of the panels are friendly debates over eras of Who or things like, what would you call it? Themes and topics the show's covered over the years. And later in the weekend, we'll also have a few panels on other pop culture topics such as the current state of DC and Marvel movies and television shows, and where Star Wars might be going post-Andor.
Well, we know where it's going. I'm taking that time off, May 26, 2026. Good job, baby.
So there's a lot to look forward to, and I really want to get to sleep because we're going to have to get up early tomorrow to get our stuff scanned in.
So do we have to, is it all, because, so we're at the Westin in Lombard. Do we have to ever leave the property?
No, everything for the convention is right here.
Okay. All right. So.
You won't have to go anywhere else.
Okay.
You want to do other things like go to the movies or the mall.
Right.
You can do that.
Well, I mean...
But yeah, it's all here.
I might just go out there. If I don't have to leave the building, I might just walk around with my only Doctor Who merchandise I have, my Doc in a Box tank top.
I knew you were going to bust that out at some point.
No,
But, we got to get ready for bed.
All right, so then I'll get through the formalities. If you want to help out that I Did Crazy Flicks, first off, you can rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. 5 stars preferably. Be as honest as you'd like in the comments, and I will learn from them. You can become a Patreon subscriber. That's patreon.com/IDidCrazyFlicks. $3 a month means 3 tins of cat food for Ava the Queen Kitty. If you don't think the content's worth $3, you must respect the kitty royalty. But with that $3, you get yourself a waterproof sticker, access to the original 90forchill.com, the podcast feed, and a shout out as long as you're subscribed. So thanks Tim Bates, who was really interested because he wants to know the dirt Christopher Eccleston has about his time with Doctor Who. You can find him on episodes about Arena, 1989's Bloodsport in Space, and the horror comedy classic Night of the Demons. Thank you, AA Wrestling former backstage personality, The Scoops Alien. Hey, thanks, Dad, for all the support. And of course, you can be a guest on I Did Crazy Flicks. Just offer me a theme, a director, an actor, a movie. As long as the content is bonkers, I'll happily give you the time on Zoom. But if it's a little more down to earth, we're going to play by 90 for chill rules. Again, need an excuse to watch the Before Sunrise trilogy. Just focus on movies between 70 and 100 minutes. Send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com with your suggestions. Or follow me on my social medias. That's @CatBusRuss, primarily on Blue Sky. But you can find me on Threads and Instagram. Thank you, Station Marie Harden, for keeping an eye on me, keeping me out of too much trouble. And I hope you're doing the same for everybody else you touched in your life. And I hope you're squeezing the ectoplasm out of the most jellicle of kitties, Skimbleshanks the One-Eared Angel. So, thanks for checking out this bonus episode of I Did Crazy Flicks. And perhaps we'll be back tomorrow. Take care.
Can I hear a wahoo?
This podcast was made possible by the love and support of Dave and Cindy Stevens, Rory Stevens and Allison Higgins, Danny Daniels, and Stephanie Smith.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.